there, I'm Carrie. Look, I got this tattoo after going on an adventure. Of course, it's temporary, but when I get older, I will definitely get a permanent one. Smash that like button and let's get it on. I was lucky to be born into a family of millionaires. My parents got rich after founding a video game development company. Some people thought mom and dad were, nuts. But they were actually brilliant, eccentric dreamers. We lived in the most creative house in the city. We had a swimming pool filled with chocolate, robot maids, and inflatable slides instead of stairs. My parents despised everything that was boring. So my older brother Andrew and I had a lot of freedom. Could I dye my hair green? Of course, baby. That will show everyone how bold you are, and we will call you Cucumber. Could Andrew get a piercing? Go for it, son. Standing out is important. Sounds like paradise, doesn't it? Yeah, right. One day, our bright house stopped being a cheerful place. Mom and Dad were avid thrill seekers. One day, they went on a vacation on a private plane. Off we go! Whee! But something went wrong. Their plane disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle. Rescuers searched for them for a long time, but in the end, they were declared dead. Oh no! What are we gonna do now? Don't worry, Cucumber. I'll take care of you. Luckily, my brother was already of age at that time. He became the CEO of our parents' company and my guardian. Andrew and I kept living in our crazy house. We were fulfilling our parents' dreams by coming up with ideas for new games. The main character will be a marmalade man. What do you think? Mom and Dad would be proud of us. Things were gradually getting better, but it was just the calm before the storm. A viper called Karen became that storm. My brother hired her as his personal assistant. Everything about her was fake, from her false eyelashes to her politeness. Ugh. Andrew, I've made some mint tea for you. Oh, what would I do without you? Go play somewhere else. Quit bossing me around, you goblin in a skirt. She looked like a Barbie, but had a rotten personality. Ew. Unfortunately, Andrew was crazy about her. Soon enough, they started dating. She kept asking him for more and more money and expensive gifts. But the saddest thing was that Karen was a bad influence on my brother. Darling, take off the piercing and put on a suit. You should look presentable. My brother became boring as a newspaper. Then his girlfriend started changing our house. And throw this ugly thing out too. I gritted my teeth and hoped that Andrew would see the light. But one day, my brother proposed to Karen. Oh no! I realized that it was time to act. This wedding can't happen. Not on my watch. When the ceremony began, I switched the cakes and released some bees. The guests panicked like a zombie apocalypse had begun. Karen even dived into the chocolate pool to escape the bees. You will pay for this! I was dying laughing! The guests scattered and the wedding had to be canceled. Voila! Unfortunately, the bride and groom did not thank me for it. They yelled at me and scolded me like I was a kid. But then, Karen suddenly broke off, smiled slyly, and whispered something in my brother's ear. Oops, I didn't like that. It turned out she suggested they send me to her uncle and aunt, who lived in the suburbs, as a punishment. I knew Andrew would never go for it. That's a great idea. What? How could he say that? My traitorous brother said that it was for my own good and told me to pack my bags. Did you think you were smarter than me, you little shit? Do you have any idea who you're messing with? Have a nice holiday. Ugh, it wasn't over. Yeah, my new home looked depressing. And the relatives of that viper, Karen, turned out to be gloomy and rude. As soon as they saw me, they said I wasn't allowed to eat sweets, use the phone, wear makeup, and blah, 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 blah. Should I also address you as Your Majesty? Mind your tongue. Never mind. You'll learn some manners soon enough. By the way, you can't listen to music in our house either, so I'm going to take these away. Hey! Do you know what the worst thing was? All those stupid rules of Mr. and Mrs. Dursley only applied to me. Can you imagine? They ate chocolate, stared at their phones, and listened to music in my headphones all the time. What a family! When I was brushing my teeth in the evening, I accidentally heard them talking to Karen on the phone. It turned out she had promised to pay them so that they'd make my life unbearable. Damn it! I could barely listen to them without frothing at the mouth. Oh, don't worry. It's just toothpaste. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to record their conversation. Never mind, I would dig up dirt on Karen and show my brother what she was really like. But now, it was time to sleep. I thought about my first day at the new school and hoped I wasn't in for any unpleasant surprises. However, in the morning, I found out that I was going to be studying with troubled teenagers. Me, Carrie Smith! I was harmless and also sick and tired of it all. Have you ever been to the jungle? No? Me neither. However, when I walked into that classroom, I felt like I was in one. My classmates were standing on their desks, throwing pieces of paper and fighting. A handsome troublemaker Greg and the school queen Valerie were causing most of the ruckus.
Move your desk away from mine. You stink of terrible taste. Ugh!
I wouldn't talk about taste in that outfit.
You're a bore.
At least I'm not dumb. Oh, those two clearly couldn't stand each other. Everyone seemed terribly angry. The teachers didn't like that class. If something bad happened at school, the students in it were always blamed for it. Which one of you hooligans broke the window in the dining room? Why are you suspecting us? Because you are always to blame for everything. No one was happy to see a new girl. They looked at me mockingly and whispered among themselves. Yeah, finding friends wasn't going to be easy.
I have an idea. Let's throw a party in honor of the new girl and see what she's like.
Yeah, she should steal the answers to tomorrow's test from the principal's office. Can you handle that?
What?
Could I handle that? Ha! They clearly didn't know me. Mom used to call me the bravest cucumber in the world for a reason. I didn't back down from the challenge. So I came up to the principal's secretary and told her that I had seen some suspicious guys hanging around the principal's car. She passed on the message and the principal quickly ran out to the parking lot. Meanwhile, I sneaked into his office like a ninja and easily stole the test answers. Never doubt me again. Wow, the new weirdo did it.
Shut up, Greg. We can see it. Give me that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Hey, not so fast, princess. I said I could do anything, but I never said I'd give the answers to you. Nobody tells Carrie Smith what to do. So now I'm gonna throw them out the window. She's nuts! Catch her! I started jumping from desk to desk to get to the window. My classmates were chasing me and screaming. It was a jungle, I'm telling you. At that moment, our enraged principal and teacher burst into the classroom. Who was in my office? All of my classmates pointed at me. I was stunned. Those traitors! Greg, Valerie, and a couple of other guys who had been fighting had to write essays after classes as punishment. But you know what? I wasn't going to put up with their behavior. When we were left alone, I told them everything I thought of them. This is a terrible class. You fight and set each other up. No wonder everyone hates you. I don't want to be your classmate. Then I climbed out through the window. They followed my example. Yeah, the principal was going to be angry. As I was walking home, I called my brother. I wanted him to take me away from that zoo, but Karen was the one who picked up the phone. Andrew doesn't want to talk to you. He's still mad at you. Leave him alone. She was insufferable. But deep down, I was worried I had gone too far when I ruined their wedding. I didn't want to go home to the Dursleys, so I wandered around the city. Then I came across Greg. He was painting graffiti on a wall. It was a portrait of Valerie. She looked gorgeous. I had a suspicion. Are you in love with her? Greg was so surprised when he saw me that he dropped the spray can and blushed. Of course not. I'm just, mocking her. Look, he drew horns on Valerie's head. Ha! Could have fooled me. I smiled slyly and wandered on. The sound of crying snapped me out of my thoughts. I looked around and saw a sad woman wandering down the street. Excuse me, are you all right? It turned out that she was terribly upset because she'd lost her cat. Don't worry, I'll help you. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Together, we quickly found the cat, who was calmly dozing in a tree. Cupcake, there you are. The woman's name turned out to be Martha. She was so grateful that she treated me to a pie. We came to her house and she turned out to be very nice to talk to. It was great to have a heart-to-heart with someone. But I had to go back to the Dursleys. Goodbye, Martha. Bye, Cupcake. I was about to go into my room when I heard a strange noise behind the door. I walked in and saw Mr. and Mrs. Dursley cutting up my clothes with scissors. Enough was enough. You're nuts! Why are you doing this? Your clothes are too vulgar. We simply helped you get rid of them. They smirked and left. I was boiling with anger like water in a saucepan. I took some pictures of my damaged clothes and sent them to my brother so that lovesick fool would see what kind of person he was dating. But my brother had blocked me in all messengers. I definitely hadn't expected that. I was in a terrible mood when I came to school the next day. However, I cheered up a little when I saw Valerie. Oh, you're going to love this. She was hiding behind a locker door and looking at photos of Greg. Those two were crazy about each other. Well, so you like that arrogant moron? She got embarrassed and put her phone away.
Of course not. I was just, writing some toxic comments.
Yeah, sure. I definitely believe that. Our principal stormed into the classroom. Was he ever not angry? You are not a class, but a complete disappointment. You actually dared to skip detention yesterday. I've hired Miss Gray to deal with you. She's the strictest teacher in town. He spent such a long time describing that evil teacher that we felt pretty nervous by the end of it. To be honest, I felt uneasy as well. However, when Miss Gray walked into the classroom, I breathed a sigh of relief. It was Martha. That cinnamon roll was absolutely harmless. I wasn't afraid of her. Hey, Martha, what's up? How dare you? Get your feet off your desk. Spit out the gum. It's Miss Gray to you. What was going on? I was so surprised that I swallowed the gum. What had gotten into her? I soon believed that everything the principal had told us about Miss Gray was true. That cinnamon roll turned out to be a real monster. She installed cameras in the classroom and always knew when we were trying to cheat. Greg Thompson, where are you going? I want to see your parents. Miss Monster made sure that the teachers gave us tons of homework and additional tasks. She demanded that we wear uniforms and sent progress reports to our parents every evening. Life at school became hell. One day, she told our class to write a paper. If you fail, you will go to summer school. We groaned because we all had plans for the holidays. Besides, it meant we would have to spend a lot of time together, and we couldn't stand each other. Still, we had no choice, and so we tried to get to work. Unfortunately, by the end of the day, we had all fallen out, broke 2 desks and a lamp. Oops, I had it with them. Okay, guys, that's enough. We should stop fighting each other and putting up with Miss Thorne. It's about time we taught her a lesson. I hadn't expected my speech to inspire my classmates as much as it did. They cheered and appointed me the leader. Do you have a plan? Sure I do. I suggested we toilet paper her house for starters. In the evening, we sneaked up to Miss Gray's house and got down to business. Weirdly enough, we made a good team. I also felt it was my duty to make Greg and Valerie talk to each other. Only a blind man wouldn't have noticed the way they looked at each other, but those fools were too proud to admit their feelings. I decided to trick them. Damn it, I can't reach the 2nd floor. Valerie, sit on Greg's shoulders and try to throw it. They were embarrassed and looked really cute. Oh, I was good at it. Cupid Carrie, at your service. After we were done, we decided to celebrate our success in a pizzeria. Great job, team. We got to talking and suddenly realized how much we had in common. They turned out to be good people. It was just that they had been called troublemakers for so long that they believed it themselves. The next day, Miss Gray came to school with a policeman. Uh-oh. I know that it was you, little monsters, that threw paper at my house. Now confess! However, no one ratted anyone out, and the policeman left with nothing. Miss Gray slammed the door angrily. Meanwhile, we high-fived each other. Nice! I went to the bathroom and suddenly heard crying. I recognized it, and then I saw Miss Gray. She was sobbing. My heart sank, and I asked her what was wrong. Had our prank really upset her that much? I was really surprised by what I found out. Oh, I'm fine. I had been working with troubled teenagers for a long time and have developed a system. I gave you a common enemy, myself. And then I told you to write that paper so that you'd work together. I'm glad that you have finally become friends. But I am upset it happened because you wanted to get revenge. I was stunned. She had done all that to turn our class from a chaotic zoo into a great team. Oh, I felt ashamed of myself because her method had worked. We had gone too far. I took on the humble role of a leader again and told my classmates about it all. I was afraid of their reaction, but luckily, they wanted to apologize for what we had done too. I climbed up a tree to take the toilet paper off it, but then the branch I was on broke off and I fell down. Ah! The world went dark and I had a strange dream. I dreamed of Andrew marrying Karen and kicking me out of the house.
You're not my sister anymore.
I screamed in terror. No! No! And then I woke up. I was in a hospital, and my worried classmates and Miss Gray were next to me. We were so worried. Greg and Valerie were holding hands. I did it! Thank you for trying to fix everything. You are a real leader, but you should be more careful from now on. I'm sorry we crossed a line. And then the door opened and Andrew ran into the ward. He looked terrified as he pushed my classmates aside and hugged me. Cucumber, I just got a call from the hospital. I was so worried. Don't scare me like that again. I'm fine, honestly. Why didn't you pick up the phone? It turned out that Karen had been lying to my brother and showing him fake pictures and texts. Andrew had thought that I loved living with Karen's aunt and uncle. That snake! My brother finally realized what kind of person Karen was and dumped her. The police are checking her and the Dursleys. The cops suspect they are scammers. I was soon discharged and came back to my old school. My former classmates and I got temporary tattoos of our beloved jungle. We are still talking to each other online. Their class is the best in school now. Miss Gray became their mentor. As for Greg and Valerie, they are sickeningly sweet. Recently, oh, you're not gonna believe it! We found out that our parents had survived and had been living on a desert island this whole time. They were finally found, and now everything will definitely be fine. We had a cool vacation. Tell me, have you had any adventures with your classmates? Write your answers in the comments down below. I'll read them all.